Profile section over here.
Hey YouTube, I'm TR and here's my daddy thing. And what did you do last weekend?
I got top 4 at YCS Memphis.
Alright, what did you play?
Played at True Draco. That's the worst deck in the game.
Do you have anything before show your deck?
Not really. I have shoutouts and my deck report, my tournament report after this deck report.
Alright, so here's your deck.
Okay, so best monster in the deck, Mono Wado. Call him Little Rocky. He negates hand traps. And I played 2 Masterpiece. He's okay. He's pretty good. Probably should be hit on ban list. Then I just run 2 Maiden. I've seen some people run 3. I just feel like it's too cloggy, especially with card demise and all of this stuff. And then last is 1 Heat. He actually was really clutch on the whole tournament. Then I played the best card, Draco Demise. My friend said this card owed me money, so I played the fuck out of this card. This card, like, always ripped it off the top. It was amazing. You see my feature match in top 8. Played 2 Desires. Felt 3 was a little too cloggy. 2 was a pretty good number. I rarely ever drew 2. I ran 3 Dualities. There was this time where I actually drew 2 a couple times, but it was just like one of the. This and Diagram were so good after you card demise with Desires because it actually fixed your hands. Like if you have the monsters, you get the spells and traps. You get the spells traps, you can get the monsters and stuff. So it helps your hand. Plus, like this actually help you dig deeper in deck for like if you didn't have card demise or Desire off for it. Play Upstart because 39 card deck. And then standard triple Heritage, triple Disciples, 3 field card, 3 Terraforming. And I ran Stormforth. Some people do run this, some people don't. I mainly played this was because this was like the one out, in my opinion. If it was really hard, but if I get this in my open hand with Rock and like a Diagram or just a way to tribute, this was the one way to beat Adderall boards, which a lot of my locals play, thanks to Richard Waddle. Then I just played the standard 3 Apocalypse, the 1 Return, and then the Floodgates were 2 anti-spells, 2 rivalries, skill drain, and Imperial Order. Originally this was Solemn Judgment, but me and my friend Brady were talking, and we decided that Imperial Order was better in the mirror match, and in Solemn Judgment we put it in the side because we didn't have room. But yeah, Imperial Order was really good. Like it stopped a lot of decks.
So I have a question. What do you choose between Rivalry Warlord and Monarch Era?
The reason I didn't play Monarchs Erupt was because I was tired of everyone asking me if I had an extra deck, and then if I say no, and if they went Dyro, they would just Abyss Dweller me first turn. And even if you have the Rock, if they have Abyss Dweller and you still have Rock, it still doesn't help you to break their board as much, because most of the time when you break the board, it's like you summon Rock and then you use Diagram and you pop the spells or trap, or you summon like extra summon off Masterpiece and you tribute out the spells or traps, and that's how you usually break the board. But if they make Dweller first, you can't activate the Graveyard effect, and it's really, really hard. It's way harder to break the board. So that was that. I guess I'll go through the extra deck because it was really fucking amazing. My favorite card in extra deck. Make this shit a lot. It's like so. That was mainly my cherry target, and it was all mainly cherry targets. I was really happy I had this because there was a Gemini FTK in the top cut, but I didn't play against them, luckily, because and yeah, this was just if I had double Maiden, but that never came up, and the rest was just all targets. Like this was mainly for Zexal. And this is just in case fat cherry, an extra cherry. Like if Pendulums, they usually get over your Masterpiece with this card. So like the second cherries I probably target with this, but then it never came down to it.
Are you kidding me?
And then the side deck, which in my opinion is always the most important thing in the tournament. Like you can lose game 1, but game 2, game 3 is where it's at. And I had 3 cherries because I has that. In my opinion, cherries is always a 0 or a 3 off. Like, you need to see this card ASAP. It sucks when you draw multiple, but if you draw multiple, at least you resolve the first time, and that usually helps your matchup, especially against Pendulums. And with like all the all decks going around, they run 3, and they really kind of rely on it. And then same thing for FTK, but even though FTK still can FTK you without the Electrum. I played 2 Ash. I had to cut an Ash because I wanted to play more cards, but Ash was really good. Like I ashed it grass, I ashed it pills a lot, so it was really good. I played it 2 Gamble Seals. It was mainly for the mirror match, and for if I was ever to go second, but that really that didn't happen because most of my matchups against Draco, we didn't know we were playing, so like they won Dyro and they went first because they didn't know what I was playing, and like going second in the mirror match was just amazing. And when you side against them, they always make you go first. So like these rarely, I rarely use these. Raigeki, this card was really good. Originally this was supposed to be a 3rd evening match, but me and Brady were talking about it, and instead of playing 3 evening matches, we played Raigeki instead, which was really, really good. It came clutch a lot. Like I rocked Raigeki a couple times. 2 Typhoons. This probably could have been mained. I didn't think about it until I saw a couple other decks, but who knows? I might have. They cut it like Duality and Terraforming, which might have not helped me as much, but this card was really good. In the mirror match, I actually hit a Heritage for like, they were trying to draw 2 and I Heritage and they ended with nothing. So this card was really good. It was also for Pendulums too, but I really opened with it against Pendulums. I had Cherries. 2 evenly match, like I said, I had to make room for other cards, like certain cards. It was good. I only played against mirror match, but that's pretty much it. I didn't do it against anyone else because like it's bad against Pendulums, to be honest. It's like they'll have like triple negate, so this doesn't do nothing against them. Play 2 Iron Wall. This was probably one of my best sided cards. Like Cherries was really clutch because, like I said, against a lot of the decks, I really was like, in my opinion, was one of the best was Adderall, and that was one of the best deck. And so I had Cherries, and then the Iron Wall was really good because the evenly match and Cosmic Cyclones, and then plus it's also good against Mech Knights and all that stuff. And lastly was Judgment. This card was, I know I keep saying this out, but this is definitely one of the best because it was supposed to be a 3rd Iron Wall, but then me and Brady were talking about like, well, this potentially stops evenly match just like Iron Wall. But when I played it, I always saw this card in a lot, like going 1st or 2nd, because what I saw a lot of people do was like against Draco, they always like to actually go 2nd because like they want to have evenly match and they want that extra card. So like I always decided this going 1st or 2nd because like worst case scenario, I can draw it, and as long as I don't lose or get FTK or like just out of control, this card can actually resolve and just win a lot of games. Like I have a couple I have a tournament report, and this card just came in clutch a lot.
So would you change anything in your deck to make it better?
The only thing I would probably do is probably test out main and Typhoons instead. Like the Typhoon was pretty cool, but if you main the Typhoon, you lose consistency in your deck, so that's the only issue about it. And plus, like if you Typhoon is like, if you don't draw it, it's like not, the value of that card is not worth it. So that was the only thing.
Alright, do you remember any of your matchup or highlights from your matchup?
Yeah, I have a whole list. The only one I don't remember is my 6th round. But my 1st round, I played against FTK, and luckily I won a Dyro. So like, I went first, opened floodgates, and then he couldn't out it. He couldn't out my floodgates, but not only that, but after he played alert, I in pure order, and then he's just that all spells, so he just scooped. And then game 2, he went first, and he apparently opened really bad, and he opened 2 Call by the Graves. So he didn't have enough cards to do anything, not even make a board. He just set Call the Grave and enter. My 2nd round was against Metalfoes. It's the guy who got 3rd overall. His name is James, and he was my one of my 2 losses in Swiss. Game 1, he went first, and just opened out really good with like Vortex and Masterpiece trap card and everything. I had the rock, but he trap card activate, pop it with the trap card, and summon Masterpiece. I couldn't win that game. Game 2, I Iron Walled and I had Iron Wall Solemn Judgment versus his evenly match, and game 3 he just went first. I didn't draw any hand traps, and he just went off and made the same board again like game 1, so I couldn't beat it, and I opened out double rock, double duality, so it wasn't worth it. I mean, it wasn't good. My round 3 was Mech Knights. That was 2-0. That's like one of the best matchups. Like the reason I picked the deck is because I had a lot of good matchups. My round 4 was 60 cards. He actually went first, and he did the whole Brilliant Fusion combo, but he didn't open Scorpio. So like his Gem Knight combo was like mediocre. He didn't mill snow or anything. And like I actually summoned Masterpiece, and like I tried to take over the game, but he was able to he opened Oviraptor and summoned it and got the Kaiju and it's tribute off my Masterpiece. But then he summoned Conductor, and then I had 2 face-down cards, and I thought I was gonna lose. I was literally about to scoop, but then I was like, oh, there's a chance. So he attacked Conductor into my Doggeron, and then I activated the I had a face-down Apocalypse, and then damage step I activated the he had a Biz Dweller, and I activated the Apocalypse and damage step, and it decreased it half of the Conductor, and I killed it. And then after that, he tried to Ghost Ogre it and damage step out, like I guess, and I told him he couldn't do it anyways. And then so he had a dead Ghost Ogre in hand, and he had 2 Abyss Dweller and a shitty Giant Rex. So he end turn, and I had Diagram still face up with the trap card, and I just like summoned another Masterpiece, and he couldn't get it over it. And in the second game, it was a grind game, and then he was able to out my Iron Wall rivalry. Because I have both face up with Masterpiece. He was able to trap either the Iron Wall and then Ghost Arc and the Spirit Master to pop the rivalry. And after that, he actually left farms for grass. But I had 1 set, and then it was Solemn Judgment. So that was that. And then my 5th round was Dinos. Like it was straight Dinos. It was pretty crazy. He went second with even match and stuff main, but I just had like too many floodgates. He couldn't beat it. Game 1 and game 2. My 6th round, I'm not sure. My 7th round was another 60 card, but I was lucky because he didn't play a single green card against me game 1 or game 2. So like I was really lucky. And he opened Garnet and Cobra, which is terrible. My last round of day 1 was against Dinos, and this one was different. He actually played it the Fire and Water True Kings, and he actually played it the Vanilla Water, and he actually made some really cool plays. But I was able to actually outgrind him with my Masterpiece, and then game 2 I just had more floodgates. And then that was day 1. I ended X and 1, and sadly the next day I had to play against one of my local and good friend Tim Kent.
He's right there. Hey,
yeah.
Hey Tim.
And I luckily won Dyro, and I just had a really good hand, and I ended with Anti-Spell and 2 Masterpiece. It was just not good. And then game 2 I got really lucky because my I drew 4 spells, and then my 5th card was the Cherries, and that like just he opened really bad too because he had to normal summon the Time Gazer and stuff, and he summoned Time Gazer, and after that he Desired, and then off of Desire he had Astro in hand, but he also milled the other Garnet for the Astro, so that was just like really bad for him. Plus, I felt even worse because my 6th card I drew for turn was Draco Demise. So it was a way easier game than it should have. And then my last round was Trickstars, and surprisingly that was supposed to be a really good matchup, but I got game 1, I beat him barely, going first. And game 2, I had double heavy dusters, and just when I tried to play around Reincarnation, he dusted all 4 of my cards, and I couldn't do nothing. And then game 3, I went first, and I opened 2 floodgates, Skill Drain and Rivalry, and made him, but he had the evenly match, so he was able to outgrind me with that. So I ended the Swiss with 8 and 2. So I got 22nd place. So my first round, my top 32 was Trickstars, and I won Dyro. And funny story is, in that matchup, I opened the same 5 cards game 1, game 3. It was Maiden, Rock, Field Card, Spell Trap, and a second diagram, well, Terraforming. And I was able to pop the trap, get the heritage, pop the heritage, get the heritage, draw 2, and I drew Duality and Draco Demise. So it was a pretty easy matchup because I drew my floodgates. Like the Iron Wall was really good. Like he couldn't out the Iron Wall because he made a Cosmic Cyclones and evenly match. He decided evenly match, and it wasn't enough. So that was my top 32. My top 16, surprisingly, I knew what a lot of people were playing in the top cut, except the last guy that was in the corner, and apparently we played each other in top 16, and he actually was playing the same thing. He was playing True Draco as well, mirror match. And I lost to Dyro, and I was like, crap, this is not good. And he actually won Dyro, went first, and he ended the board with Masterpiece, and Anti-Spell, Heritage, and 3 back rows. And I'm like, crap. And then, but when I looked at my hand, it was actually really good and really playable because I had the spell and I had the Masterpiece. So I was able to set 2 spells and traps and then summon Masterpiece to pop his Anti-Spell because I had like Diagram and Card Demise, and like I was able to pop his stuff and force his Masterpiece because it was monster spells. So my trap popped his monster and my spell popped his thing, and then he chained it to pop my Masterpiece and I chained it to pop his other cards. And then off of Duality, I got the Heritage. Even though I had Diagram still, but beginning Duality to Heritage, draw 3, and I just went off from there. And then like he said if I had the Anti-Spell, he'll scoop, which I did. And because at the end of the day, I had Masterpiece, Anti-Spell, and 3 back rolls and Diagram. All he had was a face-up Heritage. Like the game was over. And then game 2, I knew at first I was going to decide to go second, but then I realized he's actually going to make me go first. So I decided to side all my go first cards. And my hand was like double Masterpiece, Heat, and like field cards. So I decided to just play the field card, pop my Masterpiece, and get a Heritage and just end turn. And he went summon the Water Time Lord, attack, and bounce my field card, and just set 4 backwards, end turn. And that's when I summoned Heat, and then just like pop some back rolls, and then extra summon Masterpiece, pop some back rolls, and then he didn't chain anything because he didn't want me to search off of the Heat, but it didn't matter. I had Heritage off rip from the hand, so I drew a couple cards and I just outgrinded him. And then I had like 1 back row, and then he summoned Ghost Ogre, and then he had 2 face down cards, and then he activated, it was Card Demise, and then this card was Solemn Judgment, my last card face down. So that was it. And then my top 8, you guys already saw, was I had a feature match for that. It was against Trickstars, and I got really lucky too with that. Game 1 was pretty easy because I resolved the 2 Card Demise, and my second game I kept playing around heavy. He heavy dusted me like 2-3 times, and I had to respect the Droll combo because like he had a deck card, and I just didn't want to get Droll Reincarnation. And then that was top 8, and then top 4. I played against Pendulum. He went first, and I drew the rock for the 6th card. But my spells, I resolved the Card Demise, but the problem is when he had triple negate board and I had the rock, and then I resolved my Card Demise, I drew into a second Duality. I already had 1 face down, second Duality, and I drew. I had Heat in hand, drew a second Duality, and I drew a Imperial Order. So that was dead. And then I activated 1 of my Duality, and I revealed the Anti-Spell, Rivalry, and Anti-Spell. So I drew no other True Draco spell or trap. Like, it was really bad. I couldn't even break the board because I didn't have enough spell or trap, and I had a live diagram, but I couldn't. There was no way for me to break the board. So like the best I could do was just get the Heritage and then just kamikaze into Naruto that he had. And then next turn he got me down to 400, and then I drew another dead trap card, and I lost that game. And then game 2 I opened out Mediocre. I ended with like Masterpiece, Rivalry, and the field card, and then he drew Dark One for turn, and then Twin Twister me. And he bore low my Masterpiece. I couldn't beat it. So that was that, and then I lost in top 4, and then my 3rd, 4th match, strangely, was 1 into my 1 Swiss loss, and I played against the True Draco the True Draco Metaphor guy again, and he won Dyro again. He went first, he made a better board this time because instead of making Tornado Dragon, he summoned the Relinquished Metaphor guy, and the board was just too big. And then game 2 I bricked. The one time I bricked because of Richard.
Blame me.
Any shout out?
Yeah, I actually have a shit ton of shout outs. Okay, so first shout out was to my lovely boyfriend Brady for the main deck, the side deck, and like we FaceTime and he helped me with the deck. Like we took a good like 15-20 minutes and it was really good. Like he helped me and the side deck was perfect. And he supported me from round 1 all the way to my top 4 matchup. Like he was like one of the best support I had. Shout out to my girlfriend Rose for being supportive, and she actually let me use her car because like one of our car ride got he bailed, so she let us use her car. My boy Chung for topping a YCS before getting a regional top. Happy birthday to my boater friend Kwa for letting us test at his hood ass apartment. My boy Dave for giving me a cute goddaughter. What's up, Chris? All my locals, Collectible Investment for giving me free sleeves. Thanks, Dave. And everyone who works at Collectibles. Shout out to Pando for letting me test there. And it's too many names, too many people, but you guys know who you are. I can't name everyone that's from Pando. But also thanks, Chris, and thanks, Emilio. You guys are the best. Also, thanks RW for the support, especially my favorite person I love to talk shit to, Richard Watto. He gave me extra luck going to day 2, and because my deck was so bad. Also, I want to say sorry to my boy Tim. He deserved a YCS top because like we were on the bubble. We were X and 1. Like whoever won was guaranteed the top. So sorry for that. I got really lucky versus him. Gabe Marini, he also topped that event. Gabe in Hawaii, can't wait to see you at Nats. Charles for all the funny Snapchats throughout the whole trip. Then there's also Jeff and Max. They both actually topped 2, so congratulations to them. Alex Vincent and Team Voltage. And then my 2 chats that helped me. My first one was we called it the Boulder Bomber Yeehaw Lawnmower Greek Goddess chat. It was just random bullcrap, but it was really fun. And we tried to theorize with Yugi, but didn't help much. But shout out to my boy Eamon for the free sleeves. And Mwad, because Mwad, he graduated the weekend, and sadly, I had to go to this event. But congratulate for him for graduating. And my other team chat was Team Beer Cone. Shout out to O's for that name. And Brady for being the best support. Anton for being 26 months pregnant. And for always boosting my ego. Dave for going to every trip and forcing me to test every single time with him and the rest of the team. And then lastly, thank you to T-Raw for doing this deck profile. And RW for letting me do the deck profile here.
Any last words to say?
You're the cameraman.
Make a dino noise, T-Raw.
Make the dino noise.
T-Raw signing out.
Peace.